is Lisa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I go live right here on Facebook every Monday at 2:30. And I do an online class. And what that means is I take some card or 3D project, whatever, and I show you guys how to do something with Stampin' Up! Supplies. And then you can purchase those things through my online store. Those of you who are my customers have hopefully received your catalog in the mail according to the tracking that I was following. Everybody got theirs last week. If you have not gotten yours last week and you're still hanging out waiting for it, let me know and I will make sure that we find out where it is and get one in your hot little hands, because you're absolutely gonna love it. So those of you who got your catalog, are you in love with all the new stuff? I'm excited. As a demonstrator, we're able to place an order a little bit early. And we get like a select list of things that we can order. And so one of the things I ordered was this Pansy. So it's called Pansy Patch. And it comes with the stamp set and these adorable dies. And as you'll see, these dies actually emboss as they cut. So they're super cute. Like I said, this is the card we're making today. And if I show you, see how the petals are, there's like embossing in them? That's from those dies. And these ovals, I have the stitched oval and then I have the regular oval. They're on our retiring list. So if you don't have the ovals yet, you may want to consider those because they are very useful. I love all of our generic shapes. We had squares and ovals and the stitch shapes and circles. And I think the only one they're keeping is the circles. I don't understand. But moving forward, I guess I'll have to try this card with circles, see if we can make it happen. But make sure you add those to your list. When the new catalog comes out, these are our new colors. So this is Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen, Pale Papaya, Soft Succulent, and today we're working with this Fresh Freesia. So we're doing this is in Pale Papaya, and I've got on my desk the supplies to do the same card, just in the Fresh Freesia. So you can see some of the different colors. Hi Kay, welcome. I apologize things are so late today. Technology was not agreeing with me. And I was sure I needed a sledgehammer and a Valium, right? Stupid computers. But I'm going to try to hold it together and we're going to make an awesome card. So let me move you down to my desk here and we'll get started. So here's my desk and these are the supplies we're going to need. And I'm starting out with just a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Inside there's a white layer, 4 inches by 5 1/4. Also for the outside, a layer of 4 inches by 5 1/4 in designer series paper, and this is out of our new Pansy. And then I have a piece of cardstock that is 3 inches by 4 inches, and then I scored it at 1, 2, and 3. And this is going to make this little piece, 3 inches by 4 inches, scored at 1, 2, and 3, is going to be this bracket here in the middle. And then there's another little bracket, and this piece is 3/4 by 2 1/4, scored at 1 1/4. And that's going to be the bracket piece here. So you'll see how this goes together as we play with it some more. And I have some die cutting we're going to do because I'm going to show you how we use these dies. And so I'm going to take and adhere this to the front of our card. So I'm going to bring in our die cutting machine. This is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This was our replacement for the Big Shot. This one's more portable and has a handle on the top, matches my office, all those fun things. It has the same kind of plate system, only the Stampin' Up! Ones are labeled. So this is plate 1 and plate 2. And then I have 2 of the number 3s. Of course, all of the recipes are written on top of the platform so that you know what you're doing. We're going to put one of the 3 in. We're going to set down our card over the top of it. And then I'm going to arrange this largest stitched oval over the top, kind of about in the center. And then I'm going to put another 3 over the top of it and roll it through. Okay, so this cut all the way through both of the layers. And I did not put any adhesive in the middle because I still want to be able to use this solid color, and this one I'm going to set aside and use on a different card. But I do want this piece. And then we're going to make the flower that's going to go on the front. So we'll work on cutting out these pieces here. I already have the leaves, the base of the leaves cut out. The leaves come in 2 pieces, a lot like our poppies. If you had the poppies out of our last catalog, this is similar, where it has the flat piece and then it has the detail that's going to go over the top. And so I'm going to do the detail. Because the base is in Pear Pizzazz, I'm going to do this in Old Olive. And I want to put some adhesive sheet on the back of this. So these things come in 6 by 12. So you can see I've already cut some of it off as I was making my samples. No, Facebook is not very nice to me. I agree. Okay. So I'm just going to take and figure out how much of this I need. So I'm basically going to cut right about there. And then these pull off in strips. Oop. So it's already pre-scored, and then the adhesive came with this piece. And so I'm going to set this onto the back of the cardstock. And this is going to create a sticker. So now when I come through and I take that die and I set it on the cardstock and die cut it out, it's going to cut through the adhesive sheet and the cardstock, making a sticker, which is a whole lot cleaner to me than trying to use the liquid glues or something like that. I know you can also use the seal, Stampin' Seal. I have seen a lot of demos will take and use it on their silicone mat because the glue does not stick to the silicone mat. And so supposedly it just gets on the little piece. I also have a Xyron machine. We've, used those in the past. Again, it leaves kind of little pieces, but the adhesive sheets don't. They're really clean. So if you've watched me much, they're like one of my favorite things out of the catalog. I use them a lot on all these tiny little pieces. And then I'm using the Take Your Pick tool to just pop the little pieces out of there. And it has little holes that allow you to just pop out the cardstock so that it doesn't get stuck in there. And then I need our flower, and so I'm going to do that in pieces. This is going to be the bottom of the flower, and we're going to do 2 of these for the top. We have the actual flower, and then we have the detail, the edges that's going to go around it. And then we also have the center piece, and then the very center, and then the top piece. So the top I want to use in white, and then I want to cut out my extras, the little detail parts. I want to cut those out of Gorgeous Grape because I think that's just going to layer on there better. I kind of looked at Highland Heather. I think I like the Gorgeous Grape better. It's just a little warmer. What do you guys think? Okay, now I have the adhesive back here because one of them, I want this, when I do the white one, actually the white's going to be the big part, I'm going to do this detail in the fresh freesia. So I want that one to be sticky. And then I'm going to need 2 of these, and I don't want them sticky. I mean, I could, but I don't want to waste it because that'll adhere down fine. And then I'm going to do this out of So Saffron. And you can load up your die cutting machine with as many die cuts as you need to make. As long as they all fit on there, you can run them all at once. So that saves us a little bit of time. Oh good, you guys agree with me. Gorgeous Grape does look better. So like I said, I'm just taking the Take Your Pick tool and popping it in there so that I can pull those out. This one just fell out, but see how it embossed? So the middle's embossed and the outside isn't. So is this item on your wish list to get this bundle, or even the whole suite? It's got a bunch of products in it. And we're going to do that color in the bottom one against the white, because that will be enough contrast. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to do the middle in yellow and then do a circle of purple, or do purple with a circle of yellow. So I've got both. And I used the die that came with the kit, you know, or our dies, for this middle, but you can also, if you just want to go quickly, you can use a regular hole punch. That's what the center of this one is. It's just a hole punch. And then we're also going to play with the ink on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside because we try to do that beforehand, especially since I'm so stressed today with, you know, Facebook doing what it did to me today. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this before I adhere it in case there's any goofs. We can flip it over and we can stamp on the other side. So I'm going to bring in the fresh freesia. And again, these are going to be new pads, and so you may want to take a little chapstick or a birthday candle, something, and rub it in the tracks as kind of a lubrication, and it'll make it open and close a whole lot easier for you. And then I'm taking the base, which is the bottom of the pansy, and I'm stamping that. And I could have stamped off and then on, and it would give more contrast. But I'm just stamping one over the other in the same color. So it's just going to give me a slight variation. Like I said, it would be more contrast if you did it the other way. And then I have the center that I'm going to do in Gorgeous Grape. And because these are photopolymer stamps, you can see all the way through them. And so it makes it really easy to line up, especially when you can look straight down from the top. I try not to do that on camera. So all you need to see is more of my gray hair, right? Okay, so I've done the flower first, and I want to put some petal or some leaves behind it. And I know that sounds kind of weird. I want to put them behind, but they're not stamped yet. And that's on purpose. When you're masking, you want to make sure that whatever you want to be in the foreground is stamped first. Then we're going to take and stamp it on a Post-it note, and we're going to cut it out. And the sticky part is going to go over your existing image, and then we can stamp. So I'm going to use the lighter. This is Pear Pizzazz. So see how the base of the leaf caught on here, and then I'm going to come in with Old Olive, and we're going to do the detail. And so that's another way. Like I said, you can stamp off and use the same color. You can not stamp off and use the same color and just have it closer. Or you can use two colors and get more detail. So it's very versatile. That's one of the things about it. It's kind of, you know, you can do what you want with it and try different things and see how you like it. So that's just going to go on our inside. And I wanted that in first because the next step we're going to do is put on our brackets. And that's the part you want to make sure you stick around for, because that's the so-called complicated part. It's not really complicated once you know how it works. It's super simple. So I'm just going to set this in the middle like I normally would. So that's our normal inside layer. Now I'm going to take that 3x4, and it was scored every inch, which is going to give me our little box. And I'm going to make sure it's got some good score lines, and so I'm using the bone folder. And as I'm doing it, I'm making sure that I'm, you know, square on the edges too. Okay, so that's what's going to go in here. So I want to put this in the middle, right up to the score line, but I'm giving it, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch gap, because I don't want it actually hitting the fold. I don't want it to interfere with how that's going to. So now, because it's going to come down almost to the score line, you want to make sure that there's no adhesive right here for now. So I'm going to put most of my adhesive for this part up at the top. And then when I close it, that's when we have our bracket. You follow me so far? Okay, then this little piece is going to come in and it's going to go right over that. And this is what's going to allow it to kind of pop up once it's opened. So I'm going to take this piece and put it in the center. And again, I'm going up to that score line, but giving it just a hair so that it's not going to interfere. And there's no adhesive, you know, down here. I don't want it to stick to the inside. So we only want it, you know, 1 inch up. Then we take this part and we put adhesive on that. And then I'm going to set this oval right back down where we got it out of. And so that's going to fit back in. And then when I go to open the card, see how it pops up? Looks like I did get a little bit of adhesive back here. So that's how that works. Now all we need to do is decorate this, and I'm going to do that on a basic white oval. And I'm going to build our pansy. And I was told, I didn't even think about it until I went and looked online, but the larger petals go on the top. Someone had said it really bugged them when somebody made one and it was upside down. I didn't know that was a thing, but but apparently it is. Pansies go with the big part on the top. But because we used adhesive sheets, all I need to do is peel off this backing, and now this is all super sticky. And so now it's ready to just match up the edges. So that's one. And then I'm going to take these dark purple ones, and they're going to go on top. So this is Gorgeous Grape going on to Fresh Freesia. And again, you can play around with colors and you can mix and match and see what you like. I'm sure as soon as this goes live and people get it in their hot little hands, it's going to be all over Pinterest. All of these projects all go onto Pinterest, and then eventually the video will go onto YouTube. If I ever get technology to agree with me, I'm going to go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, but I need it to work, right? Okay, so I'm going to take some glue dots and start putting the flower together. I was trying to do a tiny bit of glue, but it wasn't doing a tiny bit, and I don't want to push too hard and have it do too much. It does that to me quite often. So, glue dot to the rescue. And then we just have our leaves. Again, same thing. I'm just going to peel and stick. Are the ones that cut out the stamped image. So if you had stamped the leaf, these dies are going to cut it out. One I wanted to use was this one. The one that has the detail in it, that's what's going to match up to the detail on our leaves. So that's how we know those go together, is these ones that have the little dry embossing in them, those are going to be for doing like we're doing today, and these ones that are frames are going to cut out the stamped images. Yeah, see, here's the little one down here. Here's some of our stems, and so they have both ways. You can stamp it and cut it out, or you can just cut it out and use the die cuts. They looked really similar, and I was sure that they were going to match up, but it was just a little bit off. So there we go. Now it matches up perfectly. So probably a good thing I did that, right? We're going to say it's a good thing I screwed up because that means that we're all human. We all do that. And now you know how they work. So when yours arrive, you won't mix and match them the wrong way. So there's our two leaves. Now on here, I just want to make sure that it's not going to fit totally within the oval because the flower is a little bigger. But it can go over just a teensy bit because there's going to be the part of this oval that will catch it. If it was too big, it would catch on the outside of your oval, and we don't want any of the flower out here because that'll catch when you go to open it. And I just have that little piece of ribbon tied around my glue dots so that they don't unravel. I found when I didn't have something on there, when I set them down on my desk, they'd go rolling and all unravel themselves. So that keeps them kind of tamed. Oops. Thought that was cut in half. I guess it's not. We'll do that now. I always use all of the edges of my Stampin' Dimensionals because this is still the two-way foam, right? And these little skinny ones are great for those areas where we might want to cut one of the bigger ones in half. And I think I'm going to stick one right over there because this is where the two petals came together. And if I overlap them, it kind of helps keep them together. And we could use seal, the Stampin' Seal, but I'm going to use liquid glue because I want to make sure that my border is good and even. And I did pretty good on the first try, but the liquid glue gives me that wiggle room, and it allows me to make sure we can still see the stitching because that's why I use those dies. I like the stitch. And there's our card. So what do you guys think? Are you going to give this a try? I'd love for you to do one and post it out in our creativity realm. If you guys will go out there and post some things, I think what I'll do is send a pack of embellishments out to one of the people that posts in the creativity realm and shares a picture of one of their projects. So be brave. We're all in this together and we all enjoy card making. And the important part is that it is handmade and you did it yourself, right? So let's show some ways that we can use our Stampin' Up! Supplies. So thank you for joining me. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.